Hey, everybody. Welcome in to the ETR NBA DFS Injury Analysis Show for Monday at the very end of January 30th here. I am your guest host, Gary Hartman, filling in for the great Drew Dinkmeyer, who is traveling, joined, of course, by always, with Mike Gallagher. Mike, how you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, I was actually bet football over the weekend, and I bet Chiefs and Eagles money line, and I'm apparently a pro football better now.
Hey, way to
Those are
go,
two nice
because
wins. I
I
was
was
pretty
on the other
aggressive. I took
side.
the Eagles opener. I was like, okay.
Nice. I obviously I get emotional, or not emotional, but I have a laundry bias with the Eagles stuff, so I couldn't put money down on them. But I did have both teams. I teased them up to 7.5. Felt good about it until Brock
Nice.
Purdy went down, and so that didn't go my way. But I digress. Yeah, I've been battling a hangover all day because I had a ton of friends over all day for the games yesterday.
Let's go.
But it was fun. You know, a lot of fun. Good. The last game was good for sure. And
Yeah.
we're on to a new week of NBA. So,
Yeah.
what do we have today? 8
Not too
games?
big. Not too
Yeah.
much on the injury stuff, but some really big tags. And yeah, we're gonna do a trade. Actually, comment on trade deadline. We're gonna do a show. And also after this, I'm recording a podcast that'll give you all the rumors and stuff. So,
Beautiful.
should be on your feed probably in like 2 hours or so. But right after this, I already did the research. I'm gonna record it. It should be up pretty soon. So yeah, a lot going on here. So I
Yeah,
kind of went on a news hunt, and it's gonna be a lot of fun to talk about.
that's great. We love that. Yeah, the trade. I think it should be a fun trade deadline because there's so many teams
Yeah.
in the mix that I think are going to be looking to buy. So we'll see.
hmm
8 games today for Monday. Some interesting ones on the slate. Let's dive right in. I think the headline here is that the Lakers will be without Anthony Davis and LeBron James tonight. What do you expect out of them as they're heading into my neck of the woods in Brooklyn?
Yeah, so most of the stuff we know. The question that's up in the air here is who starts in the fifth spot, and the candidates are going to be either Rui Hachimura or Lonnie Walker. We saw Lonnie return from his ankle tweak and get limited minutes. He's usually been the guy who starts, but they start Troy Brown. But I won't be surprised if they start Rui Hachimura here. He's capable of playing more minutes. They do like the chemistry with him and Westbrook, so I don't have a strong lean on that situation. But we've already taken a couple unders here with Thomas Bryant under rebounds. He'll certainly be in the starting lineup. But they play Winning Gabriel a pretty good bit, so we're not expecting too many minutes out of Thomas Bryant. Really good matchup though for points. We love to attack Nick Claxton for our DFS spots, but yeah, not too much ball handling as well. We saw in the last 4 games without LeBron and AD. Schroeder had a good amount of scoring, but his assists have been pretty low. He only has 7.8 potentials per game in the last 4 games without LeBron and AD. So we actually took an under on those assists, which we feel pretty good about. But yeah, expecting pretty strong minutes out of Westbrook. He'll have a really, really big role, up-tempo style, not much on-ball defense from the Nets. We'll see if Ben Simmons can go talk about that in a second. But yeah, expecting mostly a pretty tight rotation. We don't think they're going to play Juan Toscano Anderson now that they have Rui and those guys. So there could be a lot of value if the Lakers can hang tight. It's a 9-point spread right now.
Yeah, it could be a lot of value. I really question their ability to hang tight in this spot here. Obviously, back to back, they're in the Garden tomorrow night. I sold my tickets for that game because one of the few games you can make a big profit on is when LeBron comes to town. And so at least, it looks like they'll all be playing tomorrow, which is good for the crowd at the Garden. But, tonight, 9-point spread in Brooklyn, even without Durant. And the guy I want to talk about next, potentially Ben Simmons. I think that the Lakers will have a tough time here. So Ben Simmons has the Q tag, knee soreness. What do you expect out of the Nets, where they also have TJ Warren doubtful?
Yeah, Warren's got that shin injury. Not expecting him to play with the doubtful tag. But yeah, Ben, don't have a great read on this. We saw Woj rule him out early over the weekend against your Knicks. So not a tough, not a guy they're going to want to play. He's had knee soreness before, so definitely could see him sitting. Would expect Seth Curry to get the start again. He's been picking up a ton of minutes. Not having TJ Warren as well could really elevate him, especially now taking out LeBron. On the other side, you don't really have to worry about on-ball defense nearly as much. So his minutes could be really, really strong. We did see Seth Curry get managed for knee injury, but that was back-to-back related. So if Ben's out, expect a ton of minutes there. We saw Daron Sharp come off the bench, but also hurt his back again, but not listed. Something just to note there. But yeah, Kyrie's been playing a ton. His 34 usage rate in his last 4 games, obviously cooking. Nick Claxton had his 20-point streak snapped. His rebounding rate has really, really gone up without Ben Simmons as well. So he would be a guy who benefits kind of in a significant way, and a team they should put up points against. The Lakers defense has been really, really bad, and taking AD out definitely doesn't help.
Yeah, totally. Not much to add there. There could be some value on Brooklyn for sure. Obviously, Kyrie will be in a great spot, but without Warren, potentially without Ben, could be some value on the Brooklyn side of things. All right. I think probably the biggest Q tag or just biggest player that also has a Q tag tonight is Joel Embiid. Philadelphia is hosting Orlando. He finds himself popping up on these injury reports with the foot soreness. What do you expect out of Embiid tonight? You think he goes? And if not, what can we expect out of Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think he's got a pretty good chance to go. We saw him have just a huge game over the weekend, big comeback win for the 76ers. He gets listed with this foot soreness thing. He got up free throws at shoot around at least that. We saw a video of it earlier, so probably playing, but it's Orlando. He's obviously coming off, the big game where he was falling around all over the place. So I wouldn't be totally surprised to see him sit. But first game of the day, we'll certainly know. But yeah, I would expect him to play. If he doesn't, we'll see most likely Montrezl Harrell slide into the first unit. Him and James Harden have a pretty good rapport there. A little bit of Paul Reed, and they probably won't go too small against a pretty big Magic front court.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. All right, Luka, questionable here. Obviously, we thought he'd miss a little bit of time when he went down, but questionable to make a return after missing only one game. So you expect Luka to come back this quickly? And anything else on the Mavs?
Yeah, so I talked about this last week, either during the stream or whenever I talked about it. I talked about it a lot. I didn't really think it was bad. Like, he tweaked it and didn't really have a lot of weight when he rolled it. So that's usually like a day-to-day ankle thing. But he's had his ankle sprained before. He's been out before with this ankle. And on those terms, decent chance he sits. Also worth noting too that he got shots up in the last game, so I think he's got an okay chance to play. So he'll probably be game time. Obviously, if he doesn't play, looking at Josh Green starting, and then just a massive, massive, massive. I need to say that many massives for Spencer Dinwiddie in one of the best matchups you can get. So he would be a really, really chalky and probably good chalk play if Luka can't go, but probably going to be game time. I think he's got a better shot than the originally suggested with him getting kind of ruled out quickly in Phoenix.
For sure.
Lost that bet.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was frustrating.
So bad.
But yeah, I covered Boyd Dinwiddie the other night for matchups. I don't think you could do that tonight with the uncertainty around Luka. And they price him all the way up to 8,500 on DraftKings. So we'll talk more about this on the NBA show, on the DFS show at 5:00. With Mike Gallagher and myself once again. But back to back, almost 60-point DraftKings games for Spencer Dinwiddie, even at 8,500, would be in such a great spot if Luka misses. Massive role. So obviously it looms large on this slate for sure. And I do think, we'll see about what ownership looks like, but again, that price makes things difficult. All right. Other Q tags on the Washington side of things, Daniel Gafford, questionable. Kristaps Porzingis not on the injury report at all. No Anthony Gill tonight for health and safety protocols. Jordan Goodwin listed out for the two-way. So could be a little bit shorthanded here in the front court for Washington. Do you expect Gafford to be able to go tonight?
I don't know. It's usually been pretty bad, right? That midday Q tag for illness has been quite a bleak outcome.
Yeah,
so probably had decent chance to sit. That would mean Corey Kispert probably gets the starting lineup. We've seen them go with a smaller lineup, bumping Kyle Kuzma down with KP at the 5. Certainly don't need. I mean, maybe they go Taj against Pirtle, but I think they would be okay playing KP there. So yeah, something to keep an eye on. We saw DeLon and Monty Morris get a little bit of overlap, and we finally saw Bradley Beal get 33 minutes. It took him a while to get there, and I was a little disappointed to see him not get full minutes yet. But man, the matchup is so good against San Antonio. I wanted to cover Boy Beal, I just couldn't do it because he's been really crappy since he's come back from the hamstring injury. But we'll see on Gafford. We expect a teensy bit of a cap on Kristaps Porzingis, but not it's an ankle sprain, so it's not something that like a hammy or a groin or something that requires a ramp up. So he could get close to 30 in his return.
Awesome. Yeah. This Beal thing is so frustrating. Like there's just no ceiling there. And I want to keep attacking it because his price is so low for what we know Bradley Beal can be. But I mean, he's in the 20s on DraftKings points. Like, what are we doing, Bradley Beal?
Have you looked at his price today?
Yeah, he's 7,200. So he's down $100 from what he's been. He's been like right around 7,300.
I'm probably flag planting him, man. Like it's how do you
Spoiler
not
alert for later on.
If you can't smash against the Spurs, man.
I hear that.
They're probably never again.
I hear that for sure. There's gonna be interesting spots. Like I think you can throw like Kendrick Nunn in your player pool tonight. Like you could do some interesting things with the Wizards tonight. We'll talk about it later. On the Portland side of things, we have both Yusuf Nurkic and Josh Hart questionable again. Obviously, that's the late game, the lone 10 p.m. Eastern game tonight. So information on this might be a little bit later. Josh Hart missed the last game, I believe, right? And did Nurk play? Yeah, Nurk also missed, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So obviously could be some major value here. Do you expect them to return tonight against Atlanta?
I do not. Josh Hart pulled his hammy, rolled out pretty quick. I always say it's a week of a guy missing time for a hamstring pull. They're calling it tightness. Should add that his namers have popped up in the trade rumor stuff, so I'll be talking about that after this. So it just feels so unlikely that he plays. So we've seen Nazir Little get the start. Now the matchup and Trae Young's availability, which we'll talk about. I wrote a matchup. I think they start Gary Payton, man. I just think it makes way too much sense. Put him out there on the Trae assignment. You'd rather have Grant not on ball there. I mean, I just think it's time to start Gary Payton. The minutes have been obviously capped, but wouldn't be surprised if they go that route on the Nurk stuff. Left calf. This is not the same one that he was missing time with. So he has two bad calf injuries. Got rolled out, got hurt in the third quarter 2 games ago. Didn't play in the last one. Big guy with calf. We've seen him get managed from the other calf quite a bit. So I think he's out too. I don't feel as strongly there, but don't feel great. So that would be Eubanks getting the start. Pretty good matchup. The Hawks are second in at rim points per game allowed. Pistons just passed them. But it would be a real interesting play against Clint Capella. We'll see a little bit of Watford, elevated minutes for Dame. Simons has been playing a ton. Jeremy Grant's been playing a ton. This team really needs a win. They got kind of bullied around by the big Raptors lineup. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. But I think there's going to be some value here, namely with Eubanks. And it's probably Galaxy braiding a bit to say Gary Payton 2 starts, but it just makes a lot of sense to me because he's just such a great on-ball defender against someone like Trae.
Yeah, we'll talk behind the strategy of how to approach this spot at 5 p.m. behind the paywall because it is the late spot. And, I think the Eubanks spot will be a, turning point or a potential decision point on this slate. So you're going to have to think that through. He was a little disappointing in Toronto in 22 minutes, only 17.25 DraftKings points. But, Watford played like 26 minutes in blowout. So, something to consider. But we'll talk it through tonight or in a couple hours. All right, other side of this game, Trae. You mentioned Gary Payton on the Trae question. Well, that makes me think you think Trae has a good shot of going tonight. You expect Trae Young. Anything else with the Hawks?
Yeah, just the ankle soreness thing. He's been listed with this before. I think he should be out there somewhat confident, way more confident than the other ones that I've been mentioning here. So I think he's got a pretty good chance to play. Of all these Lukas and Embiids, I'd probably rank it Trae most likely, then Embiid, then Luka. But if he's out, there's obviously going to be a lot of value. We'll see DeJounte just go from, he'd be probably one of the better plays in the slate. Portland's been taking away off-ball scoring. They've been keeping the kind of spot up games. So whoever has the ball could really, really dominate. So it would be a great DeJounte spot. Probably get Bogdan in the mix. His minutes have been elevated in certain times, so I think he would really benefit there. We'll see a little bit more AJ Griffin as well.
Yep. Totally agree there. I expect Trae to go as well, so we'll see about that. Same suspects mostly on the Minnesota injury report. Rudy Gobert seems to be questionable every single slate and plays through it with full minutes, so I'm not reading much into that. Anthony Edwards also finds himself.
He's not listed, but he was listed last game.
Okay, cool. Cool. And Taurean Prince as well is questionable. So what do you expect from Minnesota?
Yeah, fake questionable tag on Gobert. We saw him play both halves of the back-to-back. They keep listing with this groin thing, so fully expect him to go. Full minutes here. I should note his touch. We talked about his front court touches spiking about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago before he got hurt. They're down again. He's only at 25.5 front court touches per game since he returned from injury. That's down from about 7 or so on the year. So tough scene there. Matchup's pretty good though. We saw him, get 36 minutes. The minutes have been really strong. I just noted the Kings were like a big rim funnel. We talked about this a lot. They've kind of shifted a little bit. They're giving up more jump shooting. Their rim defense has been a little bit better. Some of that small sample schedule stuff. But it's noteworthy that they're not like quite the rim funnel that the Utah Jazz are and things like that. But also worth noting, as you mentioned, Ant hurt his wrist 2 games ago and, completely went nuclear in the last game. 34 points, pull-up festival, got a lot of great catch and shoot. He is on fire. I think 118 effective field goal percentage on catch and shoot shots in his last 5 games, just can't miss. So he's in a really good role. Jamie McDaniels guarded Fox and was kind of so. But yeah, expect pretty tight rotation. Now we've seen Chris Finch tighten up here. That 5-man unit could play a bunch, but I almost wanted to cover boy Ant, but that would have been back-to-back cover boys, so can't do that. But I think Ant's in a really, really good spot.
Yeah, for sure. Will be an interesting game to attack from a DFS perspective. Only a 1-point spread near 238 over under. Not the highest on the slate, but with the close spread, certainly could be heard from as these two teams playing each other back to back. Well, a day in between, but back to back. After that, we got just some Spurs stuff. Romeo Langford out tonight. I think Josh Richardson is expected to play. Anything on the Spurs on the other side of, we already spoke about the Wizards, on the other side of that Wizards matchup?
Yeah, expecting KBD to get the start. We saw Jeremy Sohan go ham over the weekend for a 30 ball. Offense is really, really starting to come around. More ball handling as well, but expecting the same starting lineup of Trey Jones, Keldon at the 2, Katie Bates Diop, who will get the Kuzma matchup on the other end. Actually, if Gafford goes, then it would be KP getting that. But we'll talk more about that when we have more information. But yeah, expecting KBD to start. Trey Jones, Pirtle, Keldon, and Sohan, who's been playing big minutes, and the shot volume has been pretty consistent from Sohan. So that, I know the NFL guys talk a lot about post-buy rookie bump. That's kind of applying here, which we kind of expected. I was pretty high on Sohan for coming into the year. Not my guy, but definitely reaping the benefits of Sohan and some patience there.
Yeah, he's definitely shown a ceiling too. So only 5,000 on DraftKings. They bumped him up $200 from, he was a high 4s. I mean, you mentioned the 30 ball had almost 48 DraftKings points, and even when he's not getting that high up, he's shown an ability to get into the mid 30s. Like, he is definitely an interesting play as his game continues to improve. Talk about a game that you're going to need to be attacking tonight. I think that is certainly one of them. You mentioned liking Bradley Beal a lot. I think it's a 6-point spread, but 241 over under. That's a big one for tonight. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about that one for sure.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that a lot. All right, probables / returns here. I believe we'll get Andrew Wiggins back tonight. Another game with a really high over-under in Oklahoma City. Warriors travel to Oklahoma City, 242.5 over-under is that game. Do you expect any minutes limit on Andrew Wiggins here tonight?
Yes. We saw him return from an illness before, and he was capped for a very long period of time. I've seen him miss multiple games now, so I'd expect him to have a cap, not like a 24, but like a 32 kind of a cap here. He's been playing really poorly. He's missing a lot of shots. And it took him a lot of time to get back into rhythm, according to Steve Kerr and himself. So yeah, his minutes could be cut a little bit. So that could affect Jonathan Kuminga a little bit. Could also affect Jordan Poole a little bit. We saw Poole's minutes get cut a little bit because Dante DiVincenzo against ball handlers is like really valuable in Steve Kerr's eyes, and you're getting one of the drive happiest guy in SGA. So Poole's minutes are a little dicey here. If they do go more to Dante DiVincenzo, especially with Wiggins back, that could compress the wing minutes just a little bit. I did cover boy Steph though
nice.
For matchups. I think Steph's in a really good spot. OKC's defense has been really good. I think second in the last month for half-court defense, but they give up a lot of threes, and putting Aaron Wiggins on him, we'll talk about that in a second, I think is something Steph could certainly exploit. Steph's been playing a ton too, and the shots have been up. So I'm really into Steph today.
Yeah, and no Dort, which leads us to our outs, which certainly will help the Warriors side of things, despite how good the Thunder's defense has been. So what do you expect on the Oklahoma City side with no Lou Dort still out with the hammy?
Yeah, we know Aaron Wiggins is going to start. That's the easy part, and
they
are undefeated. Yeah, the Terps, they're undefeated with Aaron Wiggins in the starting lineup. I believe it's 8-0 now, and they've been joking that they're going to kind of stick with it, but he'll be starting. The next question you ask yourself is who starts at center? And I talked about this a lot with Fan, saying there was a little bit of a push and pull. Because if you're going to start Kenrich Williams, you're emptying the cupboard for your on-ball defender guys. So they did switch their defensive scheme. They went from this switch-happy scheme they run with Kenrich Williams to more of a drop traditional kind of a defensive coverage against the Cavs. And it worked. They were pretty good defensively. Again, OKC's defense has been really good. But then this is a classic switchy scheme, right, against the Warriors. So there's a chance they start Kenrich, which would make Kenrich a play. But it would also mean Aaron Wiggins could play a ton of minutes and kind of maybe match Steph for as much as he can out there. So definitely into that. I like Clay's matchup as well too. We'll talk more about this. But yeah, this there's a lot of like low key fun games. Like I like that one. I think Toronto Phoenix is
It's a
fun.
fun slate. It's a fun slate.
Yeah, I'm
It's
really
gonna be
excited for these games here. It's very NBA nerdy.
yeah.
But you like, oh, no LeBron, no AD, but
Besides
the
that,
real grinders
yeah,
appreciate the
I
slate
agree.
today.
I agree. I'm looking forward to watching Golden State OKC for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
Oh yeah,
OKC finds themselves in the ability to stay in these games. Obviously, they're in the playoff hunt, but at home should be up tempo. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, there's some rumors that there could be there was a rumor of them going after Pirtle, and getting a center, and that'd be
OKC
cool.
being buyers, and I'm sure you'll talk about all this over the next week or so, would be really, really interesting.
Yeah,
Pirtle would be. Yeah, they need. I mean.
Hey,
You just mentioned who are they starting at center tonight? Obviously, Drew has his Len Williams, Rich Williams bit. I'm not going there, but
no, we're not. Yeah, there will be no. It's J Dub and J Will. You could call them what they want to be called. His friends call him J Will, J Dub. I'm gonna call him J Will.
So funny, man. He was cracking me up. But
he loves it. Yeah, he's leaning into it.
He was so just confident that this is.
I can't believe he never knew the fetch thing. We're like the same age, and I mean,
how do you not know what that was? My God.
But I mean, Mean Girls is pretty funny.
Boomer Dink. We love him. Anyway, more out tags here. OG out again with the wrist sprain. Toronto in Phoenix tonight. What do you expect out of Toronto's starting lineup and just rotation in general with no OG?
Yeah, pretty straightforward here. Precious Achiuwa just completely running away with the minutes. He's been fantastic. A lot of on-ball scoring too. So Precious is just A plus. I expect him to continue to crush in the spot. Minutes have been elevated. We're seeing Gary Trent get really solid minutes. Fred VanVleet's playing a ton. Siakam's playing a ton. I'm in. I think Gary Trent is the guy I highlighted for matchups. I think he's going to get a lot of shots. He's going to get Chris Paul, and we've seen Nick Nurse really funnel shots if they want to kind of let Trent cook on a guy. We see him do this against Orlando when they put Fultz on him and other spots throughout the season. But really good spot for Trent. Iffy on Siakam getting our guy Torrey Craig, definitely. I think VanVleet's fine. He'll probably see Mikal, but VanVleet's kind of just really taken over. Rough game last time, but his role in minutes have been really strong.
Precious, man. 50 ball in DraftKings on what was that, Saturday? So
just
33 minutes, 27-13. Had 3 stocks as well. He's in a good spot. Only 5,100. They raised his price, but not too much. Potential big night for Gary's everywhere. Me, Gary Trent, Gary Payton might start. We'll see.
Yeah.
Gary Hive is running strong. All right. Any other stuff back-to-backs that we have here tonight, I guess, is...
I wanted to note Cam Johnson really quick, because there was some comments from Monty Williams saying last week that he didn't want to play him 30 minutes, and we've seen back-to-back games. Overtime boost him a little bit. But the minutes are back to normal now. So they've kind of sped up that timeline. So something to note there. Could play a bunch. Great matchup, right? We like to play jump shooters against the Raptors. So we'll definitely be talking about him. The Detroit starting lineup, they don't want to run their 2 bigs together. And Casey said that they're trying to figure out how to form some new habits. Worth noting, Alec Burks is on the trade market. Boyan as well. But I expect them to start. And it's going to cut into Ivy's upside and Duren's upside, because now that they have to compete for those minutes. So they're not going to probably play them like mid-30s minutes, because they want to play Killian. They want to play Beast too. So the upside for those guys is pretty rough. While Boyan, who's going to get DFS, I would imagine. So it could be a sneaky Sadiq base spot, or even Alec Burks, whose minutes have been pretty strong. But Detroit's just a complete dumpster fire right now. One of the worst teams in the NBA.
Totally. I mean, they're full on tanking, I think, at this point. They should trade Boyan. They should trade Burks. Obviously, they've shut down Cade. I think they're full on wobbly for Wembanyama at this point. So I think that's true back-to-backs or front end of back-to-backs. It's just the Lakers, right? I don't think there's anyone else.
They're tomorrow. I think that's it. Yeah.
I think that's
Nobody
it.
else
I think
tomorrow.
that's it. We got a 5-game slate tomorrow night on Tuesday. But I think that will just about do it for all injury stuff. You can catch us behind the paywall, Mike Gallagher and myself, today and tomorrow. Mike and myself will be on the injury show as well tomorrow, as Drew is in Vegas with doing corporate fun things in Vegas. And I will be happy to be filling in once again. Of course, support the people that support us. Mike, tell us about Underdog Fantasy.
Yeah, this show is brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy. They have daily NBA snake drafts for money running in addition to many NFL contests still running for huge prizes. If you're playing NBA Pick'em, in-season subscribers can use our tool to compare ETR projections to their game. If you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, use promo code ETR for a matching deposit bonus up to $100. That's promo code ETR at UnderdogFantasy.com. Love Underdog. And yeah, Dink had a tough time at Circus Sportsbook at the Stadium Swim yesterday. Watching some football, so they're having a good old time in Vegas, and I miss it, man. I haven't been to Vegas in forever. I think I'm going to go there for All-Star break.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Nice. Yeah, it's the thing with your part of the country, you can just kind of
it's like a 3 hour. It's like a 3.5 hour drive for me, so easy peasy.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Nice. Well, yeah, you should do that. And again, you can catch us behind the paywall at 5:00 Eastern. If you're not going to do that, please do at least support us with your clicks and give us a thumbs up here. Subscribe to the Established Run NBA YouTube page. We would greatly appreciate it. Help us feed our families, as Dink likes to say. So yeah, we'll be back 5:00 Eastern. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.